Is that International Press View now with Catherine Spencer? Where are you going to start?
Okay, first of all, I wanted to start with the Edmonton Journal. Now, obviously, as the Israeli 60th anniversary celebrations get underway, there's been a lot of editorials about the situation in the Middle East. Now, this one says two peoples come together in one state, and it's basically suggesting that perhaps it's time to abandon plans for a two-state solution. Why don't they concentrate now on a shared single nation where Palestinians can move around freely and the rights, while the rights of the Jewish majority are protected. Obviously, no Israeli leader at the moment would be open to this, but apparently there's increasing support from Palestinian moderates who say that, look, this is really the only way that we can move forward. And there are lots of problems coming up with demographics that in 2025 then the Jewish population could be in the minority. Also, Hamas has forced the kind of catalyst. Many moderate Palestinians don't want to be ruled by Hamas.
That's one of those things, isn't it? If you think about this idea of having two states, Israel and a Palestinian state, well, already there are two Palestinian territories, the West Bank and, of course, the Gaza Strip. The West Bank run by Fatah, one of the factions. The Gaza Strip run by Hamas, the other faction. So it's already looking like a three-state solution, if it's a solution at all. It's a terribly complex scenario, isn't it?
Absolutely, and if the two-state solution, I mean, many people already say that talks with the US are basically at breaking point anyway. They're futile, they haven't got anywhere, so maybe it's time to consider another solution. It's controversial, but...
it's an idea.
Absolutely, well, maybe. And moving on to Haaretz, which is an Israeli
what do they make of it, I wonder?
newspaper. Well, they basically got an interesting article. They're saying that while there are all these celebrations for the 60th anniversary of the Jewish state, that Jewish people shouldn't begrudge the Israeli Arabs because who are in mourning at the same time. And it's basically coming up with ways to try and bring these two historically and political dates together without causing all these tensions.
This is in Haaretz.
Yes, in Haaretz. It's an interesting article. It says on the one hand that we shouldn't prevent them from engaging in mourning and because obviously it meant the mass movement of people, but it also goes on to say that it should also serve as a reminder for Palestinians of their historic mistake in rejecting the UN partition plan. And it says that, you know, if while we're discussing the kind of two-state solution, what's going to happen, it needs to be careful of not ending up with nothing like it did 60 years ago. But it also suggests...
Sure, interesting. Haaretz could then come back to find some way to blame the Palestinians, I suppose. But carry on.
OK, now moving on to the Daily Star, which is a Lebanese national newspaper. Now, it says it's focusing on the Arab League delegation that went to go and try and talk to the two warring factions, the opposition and the ruling party.
And there's been a little bit of progress, I understand.
Well, apparently, but basically the Daily Star says that both sides have distinguished themselves in not actually having any policy for bringing the country forward, but they just both are exceptionally good at tearing each other down without putting anything concrete in place.
This is the depressing thing about the situation there, isn't it? Completely. And obviously the Daily Star reflecting that, yeah?
Well, it's saying that basically the people who end up suffering are the people of Lebanon who end up without anyone to represent them.
Completely.
OK, moving on to Die Welt, which has an amusing, the German national daily paper, which has an amusing, basically...
Amusing and German, I don't want you to put those two together. Sorry, Germany.
Basically, it sets out the three options that are open to Hillary Clinton. It says she can either quit now, cut her losses, because between them, the Clintons have spent something like $11 million of their personal fortune. She's hugely in debt. Yeah. Or she can carry on. The second scenario is the Rambo scenario, is to carry on until August, no matter how bloody the outcome. And the third one is to carry on until carry on until June and then drop out. And whatever she decides to do will be key for her political future.
Well, I think we'll leave it there. That idea of Hillary Clinton as Rambo, something you to take with you throughout your day as you think about the news and how it reflects on your life. Catherine, thank you very much for that. That was our International Press Review. You're watching France 24. Stay with us.